Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. This is about Black Lives Matter movement and what Prime Minister Britain Boris Johnson says. He said, Africa is a mess, but we can't blame colonialism. British Prime Minister Boris Johnson on 2nd February 2002, 18 years ago said, Africa is a mess. Colonialism should not have ended. The question here arises. Should colonial powers be blamed for current status of the continent? Removal of statues erected in honor of former slave dealers in Britain by the protester of Black Lives Matter movement across America and Europe is in limelight. Prime Minister Boris Johnson argued few days back, "These statues teach us about our past with all its faults." From 1880 to 1900, British control over numerous territories in Africa, including Egypt, Sudan, Kenya, Uganda, South Africa, etc. Britain ruled over 30% of Africa's population with gross inhuman treatment of native Africans. In his article, Boris Johnson glorifies UK's colonial activities. In his opinion, it uplifts the slightly backward continent. Boris suggested the recolonization of the continent as a remedy for its plight. In his article, he says, "The continent may be a blot, but it is not a blot upon our conscience. The problem is not that we once were in charge, but that we are not in charge anymore." He gave the example of Uganda. "Consider Uganda, Pearl of Africa, as an example of British record. Are we guilty of slavery?" He rejected the claim of planting wrong crops in South Africa. In 1956, Ghana had a bigger GDP than Malaysia, and Egypt and South Korea were economically on a par. Can you really blame colonialism for the subsequent divergence in performance? He refuted the claim that Britain has turned their back onto South Africa. At one point, when UNICEF visited the South Africa, he says about them, AIDS blotched heads. He also said, "The best fate for Africa would be if the all colonial powers or their citizens scrambled once again in her direction, on the understanding that this time they will not be asked to feel guilty."